Nobody seems to know what chemicals were released from this toxic cocktails that rained down from the sky from the fire and explosion.
The response has been, nothing is wrong, nothing to see here, but it's going to be a nightmare.
Hey, it's Jordan. Happy to be joined by Ann Rolfes. You are the director of the Louisiana Bucket Brigade. And unfortunately, we're talking because there's been a massive explosion at an oil plant. Residents nearby in Roseland, Louisiana, and even further down are finding soot on their property. You're finding oil sheen in rivers. And nobody seems to know what chemicals were released from this plant, Smitty Supplies, which has a long list of regulatory violations. Even the mayor of Roseland doesn't have a list. Let's start with the background here.
So I know what the rest of us know, which is that it's an oil and lubricants facility. According to press reports, it's had a history of violations. And that is not unlike a lot of other facilities in Louisiana. And if you want to know why, well, just look at what the response has been from our health and safety institutions here in Louisiana. It's to act as if there's no problem, nothing is wrong, nothing to see here. They've never had an explosion where there has actually been a problem. And that is why a company like Smitty's that exploded last Friday has an accident history, because there is no health and safety oversight that is meaningful on any level, including the local, the state, or the feds.
I want to talk about this specific plant because there's a pretty long history of environmental violations. Records show Smitty paid $250,000 in 2024 for oil spill, although company did not admit liability. The oil plant in Roseland, where a midday explosion turned into a massive fire, has a history of environmental regulations in recent years, including a $250,000 fine leveled just 2 years ago. That fine stemmed from an oil spill into a nearby roadside ditch in 2021. Not the only plant that gets a slap on the wrist fine. They're never shut down. There's rarely even a pause. But we've seen what's happened in East Palestine, Ohio. Conyers, Georgia, with that chlorine gas that was released from that plant that created pool spas. Obviously, there's been other oil explosions in other cities. I covered a couple months ago a big fire at a lithium battery plant in Central California that sickened people. This stuff's kind of spreading all over the country, yet somehow these toxic mushroom plumes, we keep hearing, you only have to evacuate a mile. Everything's fine. The air is testing fine, even though independent testers, when they test, they find all sorts of things that the EPA isn't testing.
And let's remember who's running the EPA, right? Essentially, the oil industry is running the EPA. We can expect no real assistance from any government agency on any level, given the times that we live in. And this has been the way that it is, decade after decade here in Louisiana. There are explosions like this. We've had the worst oil spill in U.S. history. We've had the worst explosion, the largest tank explosion in U.S. history. It doesn't matter how extreme or how bad the accident is. The regulators have always said everything's fine, absolutely defying common sense and people's lived experience. And so the way that I think about it is we have this short-term problem, which is this explosion, right? And then, of course, the longer-term problem of no real oversight.
In your experience, what should the people in Roseland be doing right now? How should they be responding?
Well, if they're smelling bad things, they should find a place with better air quality, that's for sure. And what we know is that we can, that the authorities are not protecting us, right? There's no question about that. So as the government official said in the broadcast there, people should be documenting the problem so that they have it if they need a record.
I want to show this also. This is from independent tester Scott Smith, who went down there. He's tested in East Palestine and Flint and other places. Do I understand correctly that there was a town hall last night at a church in Roseland where elected officials and/or government agency officials said there's essentially, quote, nothing to see here, and it is safe for you and your family to return home and be exposed to the contamination that rained down on your properties, in your ponds, and your pools? in your soil, on your pets, in your airspace? Did anyone tell that to this dead frog I found swimming in the, quote, harmless toxic cocktails that rained down from the sky from the fire and explosion? By the way, for anyone that finds dead animals of any kind, if you can, put them in a Ziploc bag. He tested in East Palestine and some other areas. What I find kind of interesting about this is essentially it's the same playbook that repeatedly happens over and over again.
Absolutely.
Even under Democratic presidents. I mean,
let's not
Trump,
pretend.
Yeah.
Let's not pretend. Yeah. Hello. I mean, East Palestine, who was president then?
Exactly. So it seems like, honestly, a lot of people look at these stories and they're outraged, but they're kind of removed from it because it hasn't happened to them yet. But these are happening with more and more consistency and regularity, whether it's mines, oil plants, plastics factories. I mean, you name it. What do people have to do nationwide? How do people come together? Because you're starting to see more communities that have had these events come together to try and fight back together.
Yeah, well, I think there are two different rails. One is in the short term, there is a decided attempt among both parties to gut regulations. There's currently this trending idea. I think somebody even wrote a book about the abundance theory, as if that's going to save us. It's just nauseating. In fact, that whole camp is talking about gutting regulations. I really appreciate your wincing when I even mentioned the damn word, because it is now a bipartisan idea to get rid of health and safety protections. What the hell are they thinking? So first off is to protect that, because we need every law we have on the books. And of course we need more, but right now we're playing defense. And then the other point is we need to pivot to a different economy. All right. As disgusting as it is to see Trump and then our own Governor Landry up there saying, we need to invest in fossil fuels and carbon capture and hydrogen and all this mess. They are very clear poster boys for failed economies of the past. And what we need to do is to put all of our energies into something different. Here in Louisiana, what we're saying is let's put our financing into Louisiana small businesses led by people who live here, who care about our planet and our communities, and who won't have the type of businesses that will destroy a river and force people from their homes.
Absolutely. And should end, just a national lens. Haven't heard much from the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, represents Louisiana. Not this district, but
what do you know?
Want to talk about it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and this is a guy who, we know what he's doing. He's an acolyte to anything that Trump wants. He's got a refinery in his district that has been a terrible problem for years and has done absolutely nothing about it. It's called the Calumet Refinery. And I should clarify, I don't know if it's in his district, but it certainly is in Shreveport where he is from. And people in the neighborhood near that refinery, I can't even describe. They are very, very sick. It's a very upsetting place to go. The poverty level is very intense. So as a man who pretends to be a Christian, he needs to go and help people in his own backyard. It's disgusting. And we know that it's up to us to make things different.
Absolutely. And if you're watching from Roseland or any of the other affected areas, definitely reach out to me. I've tried to get in contact with residents this morning. I'd like to talk to you. We're hearing folks are having symptoms, respiratory and others. So we'd definitely like to get your story out there because unfortunately, this isn't getting that much attention in the national media, not surprisingly. So thank you, Ann Rolfes, Director of the Louisiana Bucket Brigade, which does great environmental activism. Let's stay in touch.